So Gervonta Davis put out this tweet stating his belief that Ryan Garcia is innocent of taking steroids and that he was actually framed by Eddie Hearn. Davis's rationale is that Garcia was clean when he fought him, but now he crosses back over to the zone and all of a sudden gets popped. He says that Eddie Hearn is known for doing dirty stuff. Now, a lot of my subscribers seem to share this sentiment. They think the fact that Garcia tested positive on the day before the fight and on the day of the fight itself is suspicious, because if he was going to take steroids, surely he would have taken them several weeks or even months beforehand and cycled off long before fight night, in which case, if he was going to get caught, it would be far more likely to happen closer to the start of camp than at the end of it. If he intentionally cheated, how could he have passed all his previous VADA tests? This is what people are asking. They're also questioning why the fight was allowed to go ahead when he failed these 2 tests. They think that is also highly suspicious. They believe that Ryan Garcia is being punished by the powers that be because of recent comments he made about some sensitive issues. Okay, so let's work through all this. First off, I'm well aware that the type of corruption these people are alluding to is very much a reality on this planet. However, I'm equally aware of the fact that professional boxers deliberately taking PEDs is also very much a reality. And many of these fighters will tell bold-faced lies and protest their innocence after they get caught. Now, Gervonta Davis isn't the first boxer to accuse Eddie Hearn of framing people for PED use and other corrupt activities. Jake Paul claimed that Eddie Hearn paid off a judge in the Joshua Usyk rematch. Then we had Derek Chisora claiming that in a private conversation, Dylan White told him that he believed Eddie Hearn was responsible for his failed tests last year. Presumably this would have been because Hearn thought White was too risky for Anthony Joshua and might jeopardize the Wilder fight, which had been lined up to happen a few months later. And finally, we had Jessica McCaskill suggesting that Eddie Hearn framed Alicia Baumgardner for PED use, supposedly because she intended to leave Matchroom and sign with Jake Paul. So these are very serious allegations, but we've yet to see evidence to substantiate any of them. That doesn't mean all the allegations are false necessarily, but as with any legal case, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Are you saying that Eddie Hearn sent someone to infiltrate Ryan Garcia's camp and spike his food or drink? Or are you saying that he has a man inside VADA who can contaminate samples for him? Whatever the case may be, if you can't produce evidence for this stuff, then you need to be very careful with what you say publicly, because you can end up being sued for defamation, which is exactly what Eddie Hearn did to Jake Paul, sued him for $100 million. Furthermore, if we look at the case of Ryan Garcia specifically, yes, he was ostensibly clean for the Gervonta Davis fight, but he lost. Who's to say that defeat didn't drive him to seek out an unfair edge against Devin Haney? Bear in mind, he showed a willingness to disregard the rules and gain an unfair advantage by missing weight. And there's the possibility that muscle gain from steroid use is what actually made it impossible for him to do 140. Then we had his erratic behavior in the build-up to the fight. Could that have been the result of a chemical imbalance due to PED use? I'm just asking questions here. I'm not making any accusations. And as for the timing of the failed tests, well, a lot of PED cheats use masking agents to hide the illegal substances in their system. And if they don't get their masking protocol exactly right, then they might test positive this week after testing negative last week. And finally, the question of why the fight was allowed to go ahead. Well, the samples have to be sent away to a lab for testing, and that takes several days. So realistically, none of the parties would have known about the failed tests on the day the samples were taken. Anyway, this is the first time Ryan Garcia has failed a test that I know of. It's his first offense, so to speak. So I'm not going to jump to any conclusions just yet. I'm going to wait and see if he can produce any evidence to exonerate himself. Hopefully he won't try and circumvent the process like certain other fighters have done. Hopefully he presents all the relevant information to the New York State Athletic Commission, who can take it from there. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section below.